so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
But yes, the origins of the Rose Hanbury rumors with William do go back to people who have close ties to Meghan Markle.
So that creator has her stitches and duets off, but I wanted to make a video because it's incredibly clear that people would blame like climate change on Meghan Markle if they could. I did an in-depth video about this very recently. You can go back and watch it. The Rose Hanbury stuff did not start because of people close to Meghan. In fact, it started with this guy, Richard Eden. A full 2 weeks before that Giles Corn tweet, Richard Eden was writing that Kate was fighting with her neighbor, Rose Hanbury, because Kate felt that she should be queen bee of their little society set. And then a few days later, another wannabe royal reporter for The Sun, who also hates Meghan, wrote that the fight with Rose Hanbury was much worse than people thought. About a week after the Daily Mail had started reporting about Rose Hanbury, they write this piece saying that she's such a beauty and that Prince William was allegedly one of her suitors. But the biggest reason that the story picks up steam is because Kensington Palace, the office of William and Kate, say they have considered legal action over this nothing burger of a story. And that's when everybody's ears started to perk up. Sue? Legal action? Oh, there must be something there if Kensington Palace is considering legal action. Interestingly, Tom Sykes, who worked at the Daily Beast, who went to Eton, whose younger siblings and cousins went to Eton, who run in the same social circles as William and Harry, that he had been hearing whispers long before it started to break in the news. So no, it did not start because of Meghan Markle. What fanned the flames was Kensington Palace overreacting, because remember, Kensington Palace told Richard Kay at the Daily Mail that inconsequential reports are simply disregarded. They felt that this one was enough to send their lawyers out almost immediately. But I thought inconsequential reports were quickly disregarded. But yeah, I can just see how it's easier for people to blame Meghan Markle. How in the world did the Rose Hanbury Prince William cheating scandal start? Like I said in a previous video, William was never even involved at first. So how do we end up here? It all starts March 15th, 2019 with the Daily Mail royal correspondent Richard Eden. It's a short little piece that says Kate has a rival and that she is vying to be the queen bee. The piece says, as the wife of a future monarch, the Duchess of Cambridge has assumed to be the queen bee of the turnip tops. That's what this aristocratic country set that William and Kate are a part of call themselves. The source says it's bizarre, but Kate really does see Rose as a rival. And literally that's it at first. Nothing about William. It is all about Kate. Cut to a few days later. It's March 22nd, and Dan Wooten at The Sun reveals this. Says that the fallout was very explosive, and that Kate allegedly tells William that they are to phase Rose out. And William is actually painted in a very good light. They say that he is trying to be a peacemaker. He doesn't want to lose their friendship. On the other hand, Kate is portrayed as a very mean girl. The next day, March 23rd, the Mail on Sunday writes a piece about Rose. And this is where the William of it all comes in. They call Rose a beguiling beauty and say that Prince William was one of her suitors back in the day. The piece acts as sort of a profile on Rose. They talk a lot about her modeling days. They talk about her willowy looks, her being a socialite, her having been linked to Prince William back in the day. And I'm almost positive this is the first instance of where a Rose and William thing comes into play. Another piece also runs in the Mail on Sunday that essentially says the same thing that the Sun article did, that Kate tells William to banish Rose. And then on March 24th, Kensington Palace runs to the Daily Mail. Richard Kay puts out this story. Is Kate's royal rivalry just a vicious rumor to damage her? The Duchess may be the real victim. And Kensington Palace does what they do best. They add gasoline to an already simmering fire. Richard Kay writes, instead, William has resorted to the law to defend both his family's privacy and when their reputation is endangered. Inconsequential reports are simply disregarded. And then in the very next sentence he says, I can also reveal both sides have considered legal action. And then a ton of outlets are like, legal action, you say? Well, there must be something there. Because the very next day, sites like Vanity Fair, Cosmo, The Cut, Elle, and gossip sites like Lainey Gossip start to post about this. On March 26th, Tom Sykes with the Daily Beast writes about it. And there are two important things that he notes in this article. One is that he had been hearing whispers about this toward the end of last year, 2018. And he adds, at this point, one could be forgiven for asking how and why Kate and Rose were contemplating suing people who had alleged they had a falling out, when the much more detailed stories about her alleged feud with Meghan have gone legally unchallenged. And then March 26th, the Giles Corrin tweet. He says, yes, it's an affair. Yes, everyone knows about it. He tells Tom Sykes later that the palace had tried to force him to take it down. He also then says later that he was just joking. Either way, this is really kind of the start of it. From the end of March to early April, the rumors just get crazier and crazier. Rumors that Rose and William potentially dated now turned into he considered her the one that got away. The story turns into now Kate is jealous of William and Rose and that she is suspicious of them. And then early April, American tabloid In Touch had this as their front cover. William cheats on Kate with her friend. They allege that the affair started when Kate was pregnant with Prince Louis. And to add more fuel to the flame, not only does Kensington Palace refuse to officially comment, William gets lawyers involved. His lawyers say that the publication of false speculation is a breach of privacy pursuant to Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. So dramatic. And because William gets his lawyers involved, a media blackout happens. No one in the British press touches the story. And then on April 24th, a Pop Crave Alerts tweets out that Prince William reportedly had an affair, and it goes viral on Twitter. And because of Kensington Palace's over-the-top reactions, the media blackout, and the court of public opinion, there's probably some truth to the story, and in a lot of people's minds, he probably cheated. I'm not one to sit here and say if he cheated or not. There's never really been any hard evidence that he has. I will say it's been rumored for years that William does have a crazy bad temper and that he's known to fly off the handle. I would not be surprised if that's what happened and he stumbled into this sort of mess. Kind of like what we're seeing happen now. Since I'm talking about Harry and Meghan this morning, I feel like I need to say something and get it off my chest. They absolutely need to get better at PR. Like, I understand the LA fires and why Meghan had to push back her show, but Harry had something come out in December. Where was the promotion for that? When he wrote Spare and he went on that promo tour, he was on the Colbert Show and he talked to Anderson Cooper. Like, he was so incredibly charming, and Penguin Random House most likely made him do that. I feel deep down in my gut, if they didn't make him do that, he would not have done any promotion for it. They are some of the most talked about people in the world. He used his power for good. And listen, the media is never going to leave her alone. Always going to go with the negative spin because that's what sells. Hate sells. If it bleeds, it leads. The Sussexes mantra is to show up and do good, which do that, but freaking tell people about it when you do it. During the wildfires, they were in LA. They were helping out before anyone spotted them. Why not use your social media to talk about the other volunteers you met when you were helping out in LA? They're letting the media create the narrative. As long as you make them money, they are never going to stop talking about you. Grab control of the reins and forge your own path.
You study at college?
I double majored theater and international relations, and then I went and worked for the U.S. Embassy for a bit. And
where?
In Argentina, in Buenos Aires.
That's sensational. You speak Spanish?
I do now, but they speak a very different kind of Spanish. It's Castellano, so it almost sounds like Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so it's full circle. I'm so lucky.
So you got to have literally all of these different dreams kind of come true at the same time.
Yeah. I can't complain about anything.
No, it's funny.
When I'm happy, I listen to Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Such a good song. For working out, it's such a different beast, and I always end up listening to what's top 40. That Panda song right now, forget it. It's great for a run, but I don't know if it'll be on my playlist in another month or so.
Winter all the time. You're wearing a sheer skirt.
I know.
It's adorable.
Thank you. So cute. Thank you so much.
Survival tips. How do you look good without putting on Uggs every day?
Well, yeah, exactly. They say that there's no bad weather, just bad clothing for it. If you're dressed well for it, you're not cold, right? So I think you just bundle up, and people just give you a pass when it's that cold. No one expects it. But the layers. You get inside, and then suddenly you're all perfectly polished and put together. Everything's here. And it's kind of amazing because all over the world, if I'm traveling, Soho House can still be home base.
Now make yourself cry. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
Now we're at my favorite restaurant, the Harbor Room. As a matter of fact, I had my birthday party here last summer in the back patio with my castmates from Soup.
And how are you enjoying London life? I mean, it must be mad because, it's very different here and it's cold.
It is very cold, but the people are so warm. As cheesy as that sounds, I was joking today, I've never been called love or darling more in my life, so it makes me want to stick around for a while.
Yes, of course Trump is divisive. Think about just female voters alone, right? I mean, I think it was in 2012, the Republican Party lost the female vote by 12 points. That's a huge number. And with as misogynistic as Trump is and so vocal about it, that's a huge chunk of it. You're not just voting for a woman if it's Hillary just because she's a woman, but certainly because Trump has made it easy to see that you don't really want that kind of world. Which of the following are names for real British places? Sandy Balls, Little Trouser, Happy Bottom, or Crotch Crescent? I think Little Trouser. The answer is... oh my gosh. Little Trouser is the only fake one. Sandy Balls, Happy Bottom, and Crotch Crescent are all real places.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made a surprise visit to Homeboy Industries on Tuesday, an organization in Los Angeles that provides support to former gang members and previously incarcerated men and women. Access Hollywood spoke with Father Greg Boyle, who founded the organization in 1986, about the duo's visit to the center. And Father Greg said he was so impressed by the couple's knowledge, compassion, and willingness to jump in head first.
At one point, Harry asked one of our workers, a woman, how did she come to Homeboy? And she said, well, through the father of my son. And she burst into tears. And Harry looked at me and I said, he was killed last week. I'm going to bury him this week. And Harry just immediately threw his arms around her and held her. It was so tender and it was so compassionate, and she was so feeling the kind of the rawness of it since it had just happened. But he responded, immediately, and it was a testament to his goodness. If people were immediately vulnerable with him and with her, and her Spanish is quite good. At one point, there was one of the girls in the cafe who Spanish was the dominant language, and Meghan just went into Spanish, which was a revelation to me. And it was, somebody came up to me and said, listen to her, her Spanish is really good. And then I ear hustled at the other end of the table, and her Spanish was good. So that was something I didn't know, that she knew how to do it.
Hart Succession, editor-at-large at Shape Magazine, and you're watching our Fit and Famous video series. And today we are joined by the beautiful Meghan Markle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, you guys may recognize Meghan from USA's Suits. You play Rachel. Tell us a little bit about your role.
Rachel is the paralegal at the firm, but she's sassy and intelligent, incredibly confident, has this encyclopedic knowledge of the law, and is incredibly valued at the firm. She's also the love interest for Mike Ross, and we ended season 2 with a bit of a saucy finale, definitely for Rachel. And so we're starting season 3 now, which will begin airing July 16th. It's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. Now, as an actress, of course, you have very long hours sometimes. What do you do when you're on set and you need like an energy boost? What's your go-to trick?
Definitely a green juice. I mean, I think trying to go for coffee or things like that only end up hurting you at the end. So to get like a really good natural source of energy, like a great green juice or even kombucha I'll have sometimes, something that just gets right into your system is a nice pick-me-up.
And who introduced you to that?
I'm a California girl, so I think all of those hippy-dippy things have been in my DNA, so probably since the womb. But no, I think it's just important to keep a healthy lifestyle, especially when you're maintaining hours like that, to just make the right food choices.
Absolutely, especially for the energy levels. And of course, you need to stay in shape because you are a big actress in Hollywood.
Oh.
What do you do to stay in such fantastic shape?
Thank you for saying that. I love running, but I think you have to find a workout routine that really speaks to you beyond trying to get goals for your body. So for me, running is like I need as much for my head and to clear my head as I do for keeping in shape. So I love to jog. I do a lot of hot yoga, moksha yoga specifically, and then Pilates at Pilates Platinum in LA.
Do you work out with a trainer, or are you the type of person that, you know, you read magazines or you just kind of train yourself?
Yeah, no, I do it all on my own, and definitely like I do DVDs at home or I go for a run by myself. I think if you can self-motivate, that's half the battle.
Do you have any particular DVDs that you love?
Yeah, I've been doing the Tracy Anderson DVDs, gosh, for 5-6 years almost now, and I just find the results are great, and you can do little 15-minute increments. I'll do it in my trailer. You just find those little bits of time that help, and then at the end of the day, you've had a full workout.
Exactly, and she's so popular with, you know, stars and regular people, so Tracy Anderson, the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to, of course, working out in order to stay in great shape, diet is also a component of it. What are some of your nutritional habits?
I definitely try to eat as clean as possible, and I started working with Dr. Alejandro Younger in the Clean Cleanse. I don't know if you've heard of that program. So I definitely just try to avoid the things that I know are going to make me feel lethargic or sluggish. I eat mostly just fish and veggies, but I am also a foodie, so on the weekends, all bets are off. I think if you deprive yourself of anything, you're just going to crave it more. So for me, it's just finding that balance, eating really good during the week, and then you know, treating yourself to whatever it is you want over the weekend.
What are some things that you like to splurge on during the weekend?
Oh man, last night I had the best food. I had a great burger. I love fries. But then you find ways to still keep that healthful, right? So have sweet potato fries or bake them. And I definitely love good Italian food and Mexican food. Because, oh my gosh, again, California girl, grew up having a lot of fish tacos.
Do you cook yourself, or are you the type that kind of eats out most of the time?
No, I love to cook. So every day I'm cooking something, even if it's just making a pesto that I can put in the fridge for later in the week, or any little component that you feel like you can take some pride in, I think is really important versus just going out to eat, for me.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Of course, you know, as an actress, you get to be around a lot of professional makeup artists and hair people. Are there any great tricks that you've picked up over the years?
Oh man, I mean the number one, and people always say it, but it's so true, is just hydrate all the time. Your skin will look better, everything will look really good. I have been using a lot of coconut oil though of late, on my skin, on my hair, like as a deep conditioner, and then even to cook with. So I guess that's the second thing that I'm a big fan of. And then in terms of actual beauty products, I would say one of my favorite things in the world is just Touche Éclat concealer for the under eyes.
That's a good one.
It'll save you on the days where you didn't get quite enough sleep.
Which happens a lot in your industry.
It does.
And finally, you know, what does being in shape mean to you?
I think being in shape just means feeling confident, being as healthy as you can, and I guess just owning whatever it is that you have. I think being happy with your size and being kind to yourself. That's part of being in shape too. Like to really just say, it's okay if I'm up a little bit this day or down, whatever it is, to just own where you are and love yourself.
Wonderful. Meghan Markle, you can catch her on season 3 of Suits on USA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
For more celebrity interviews, workouts, and tips on shaping.
Please picture. Please picture.
Geht mal bitte weiter nach hinten.
Hello, Princess. Yes. What's your name?
Hi, nice to meet you.
This picture?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
We saw you in the Meghan Markle lifestyle trailer for Netflix. What did she cook? What's the best part of having her as a friend? Is it the chef?
I mean, I had my baby, and I think I was like 2 months postpartum, and she texted me and was like, do you want to be in my show? And when you hang out with Meghan, you know the food is going to be good. And so it's just nice to have someone else be cooking for me. And I was like, I'll come to Montecito and have you cook for me and go to your garden. And that's what we did.
I love that. Cooking is a love language.
I will say, I'm sure you've probably noticed that a certain show, Suits, has become a phenomenon yet again on Netflix. 45 billion minutes have been watched. Is that right? 45 billion as of this week. We just found out 24 minutes ago that is the number.
Who's counting?
But literally, who's counting? What do you think is behind this renewed love for the show? Why has it become such a phenomenon again?
I have no idea. It was great to work on such a great cast and crew. We had a really fun time. I was on it for 7 seasons, so quite a bit, but it's hard to find a show you can binge watch that many episodes of these days, so that could have something to do with it, but good shows are everlasting.
Guys, but everyone's so dressed up, thank God I didn't wear jeans.
We have a good friend, and every year at New Year's, she goes around the table and asks who's sitting there at dinner, what is your word for this year?
Happy holiday!
And a few years ago, when I heard that for the first time, I was like, oh, what is my word? Not a resolution. What is your word? And I thought, my word is peace. Peace has got to be peace.
The real victim of bullying. Do you notice a pattern in the kind of people that attack Meghan?
Yeah, white male, pale and stale. Look, can we just stop messing around and call this for what it is? It's bullying.
Who do you think is the victim of bullying?
Meghan Markle. You know, they can't go too all out on Prince Harry. So let's go for the evil, scheming woman. You know, that whole thing about women taking men away, dragging them somewhere and, you know, destroying them. I mean, how misogynistic is that? Here's Hanbury in her...
Trisha Goddard might be familiar to Australians from her time on the ABC. But these days, she's a talk show host in the UK, where she's become a rare, staunch defender of the Duchess of Sussex.
I think what she's done wrong is not to be of the correct stock. I think what she's done wrong is to be an American, to be an outsider, to have been divorced. Also, she's a strong woman. I'm not saying she's perfect, but I'm sorry, Prince Andrew doesn't get as much, consistent vitriol.
So what do you think is at play here? Is it sexism? Is it racism? Is it a heady combo of both?
Yeah, it's all those and above. I mean, we know through polling that, for instance, the Sussexes poll highest amongst youngsters under 25-year-olds. It is the dinosaurs screaming, because when it comes to an outsider and a female of colour, then that is something that you are going to come down on, because it shouldn't be allowed.
Really takes no hostages and is quite determined that what Meghan wants, Meghan gets.
Oh, for f***'s sake, I mean, here we go again. It's like, it's boring.
British TV host Trisha Goddard is quite clearly sick and tired of people taking potshots at the Duchess of Sussex.
Wow, you're a real... in the US, people really like them. People can't understand what's going on in Britain other than snobbishness, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that going on.
Do you think it's kind of a no-brainer now that Harry and Meghan would base themselves in West Hollywood instead of Windsor for the rest of their lives?
Listen, you certainly can't blame them if they decide to stay in the States. You really can't blame them, can you? Also, they've successfully sued publications a number of times. I think they realise that those publications are going to make their lives as miserable as possible. So I can't blame them if they stay in the States for the foreseeable future.
Really takes no hostages and is quite determined that what Meghan wants, Meghan gets.
Oh, for f***'s sake, I mean, here we go again. It's like, it's boring.
British TV host Trisha Goddard is quite clearly sick and tired of people taking potshots at the Duchess of Sussex.
Wow, you're a really good dancer.
I love to dance. Archie loves to dance now, too.
She says it's no wonder that Meghan and Harry are much happier these days being based in America.
In the US, people really like them. People can't understand what's going on in Britain other than snobbishness, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that going on.
Do you think it's kind of a no-brainer now that Harry and Meghan would base themselves in West Hollywood instead of Windsor for the rest of their lives?
Listen, you certainly can't blame them if they decide to stay in the States. You really can't blame them, can you? Also, they've successfully sued publications a number of times, I think they realise that those publications are going to make their lives as miserable as possible. So I can't blame them if they stay in the States for the foreseeable future.
It's hard to see where we go from here to repair the damage.
The couple is coming from within the royal family. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
I mean, they can deny all they like.
If I am a reporter and I come to the palace and I say, I've got this pretty scandalous headline about William, the palace would swap out that story for a story about Harry. They say, I'm going to give you this story about Harry if you'll kill this William story. So this has been going on literally for 20 years or so. Harry has been a victim of this forever. What we do know is that it's a PR strategy that the palace has done for decades. The palace absolutely has to paint Kate in the perfect light. And if that means running over Meghan Markle, to them, it's justified. Kate is going to be queen one day. So they're doing everything in their power to keep her innocent and pure.
In love with a beautiful Hollywood starlet, and they live happily ever after. But hang on, this Hollywood starlet is a fiercely intelligent, independent woman who's forged a successful career in the cutthroat world of showbiz. She's a campaigner, a charity worker. She says stuff like Trump is a misogynist. Meghan Markle is no fluffy Sloane whose only aim in life is to marry well. She's no weighty Katie messing around with menial jobs till her prince decides to propose. She's a woman with a mind of her own.
Death threats and so on. It's completely disgusting. Have you heard from anyone in the palace thanking you for the, serious defense of them?
I've had some messages communicated to me on behalf of several members of the royal family.
Upper level
We're very grateful that... Well, I'm not going to go into who it was, but what I would say is gratitude that somebody was standing up for them.
Taking stock, is there something you would have done differently, anything you regret?
And actually, it's Harry and Meghan's war on the press and the media. And as they say at the start of episode 1, they say so many books and shows and stories have been written about us. We wanted to have our own say. And remember, the purpose of the PR office at the royal family is to keep the royals in the press all the time. So you have to remember, when I work in newsrooms, it's a fact that every anti-Harry and Meghan story comes from Kensington Palace. And if it comes from Kensington Palace, why are they briefing against their own grand?
Well, okay, that's a very... The idea...
Why are there never any
I think that's fascinating.
About Prince William?
Well, William and Kate involved in briefing against them originally, I don't know. That's a good point. But having a war on the media, I don't know whether that's worth it.
Could be seriously bad. You mentioned that there's a picture there that has leaked to the American press. So far here in the British press, we've either been choosing not to or not been able to reveal anything about Kate. There are some concerns amongst some elements of the British press. It's like, look, we do help to pay for the royal family. Should we not be getting a bit more information? The Ministry of Defence put their foot in it yesterday by saying she was going to attend a Trooping the Colour event on June the 4th. They've since retracted that. Look, it does seem as though the last thing, really, that the royal family would want is for good old Uncle Gary to wander into the Celebrity Big Brother house.
I suspect it's the kind of uncle that doesn't get told the family secrets. Everyone's quite aware, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, the fact is that the royal family does have a huge amount of power over the British press in this country, and if you ever want any kind of ongoing relationship with the royals, which obviously everybody does, then if you are the one who goes straight over the top and broadcasts something, especially something deeply personal like Kate's illness, then you are going to be excommunicated from the royal pool, as it were. I do also...
A showrunner who's worked closely with the Sussexes has praised the couple.
Oh, that's nice.
He has, exactly. And we're happy to report this. A nice positive story about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and the producer or showrunner, as they call it in America, on this reality series, if you like, about polo, has said they were absolutely a delight to work with. Great people to collaborate with. His job, and they were, of course, executive producers of it. That guy there, Milo Balak is his name, and he is said, and look, you know, let's face it, he's getting paid by them.
I was going to say, so Meghan and Harry are his bosses who pay...
Exactly,
right,
yeah. And Meghan and Harry do a brief appearance in one of the episodes of the show. But be that as it may, he's saying they were great people to work with. Basically let him go about doing his job of creating a show. Prince Harry had some ideas of how he wanted the narrative to be, because polo is one of his own passions, and that's reflected throughout the show. But basically, they let him do what he felt was the right thing to do as the producer of the show, which is about to drop.
Crawler, sorry. Okay, thanks.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. But the problem is our communities are divided. For Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too don't, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
Thank you. What I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with black blood?
Okay, so this is hilarious. I just saw this white lady on here complaining that she just lost her job because she was hired under the diversity, equity, and inclusion program at her work. And you can see she didn't want to say it, but she really wanted to be like, but I'm not black. But that's not what diversity, equity, inclusion meant. The #1 recipient of DEI hires is white women. The #1 people who have benefited the most from this whole affirmative action and DEI hired has been white women, 100%. And now all these white women who voted for Donald Trump are going to find out that DEI included them. And I'm sorry, but this is one of the best fuck around and find out moments yet, because these women are the ones who deserve to be fired. I'm sorry, like, if you voted for Donald Trump and you get fired because you were a DEI hire, don't come looking to me for sympathy.
So like JD Vance, I am a former Marine who used their GI Bill to attend Yale University. Here's my degree right there. And like JD Vance, who attended Yale Law School, I was there at the same time as him. We actually sat on the board of the Yale Veterans Association, which is an alumni association. And we both were able to be recipients of DEI efforts at Yale University. At the time that I was a student, there were only 5 veterans in my entire program. There are currently 25 in the Divinity School program now. In the undergraduate program, there are about 8 veterans. In the Eli Whitney program, there are currently about 15. Now, the law school where JD Vance was a student, he was one of about 6 students at the time at the law school. Currently, I'm pretty sure their numbers are in the 20s or the 30s when it comes to veterans. So these efforts to increase and push diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that benefited JD Vance. And he is now turning around and he's pulling the ladder up so that people like him who grew up in poor Appalachia, who joined the Marines, who were able to use the GI Bill, are no longer able to follow in his footsteps because he wants to remove the same DEI programs that got him to where he is today.
Without DEI policies, the best employees won't be hired. Because if this country was really a meritocracy, black women would be running everything. Because if you look at this country, the most educated people are black women. The most intelligent people are black women. The hardest working people in this country are black women. Black women have been discriminated against. They have been taken advantage of because of their work. It's been taken credit of. We see movies like Hidden Figures. Black women are the most intelligent, hardworking, professional, and demure people that we have in this country. And so if we were really a meritocracy, our country would be run by black women because they are the most competent and the most worthy of merit in this country. When Christians are known more for their support of the president than they are for their support of the poor, marginalized, immigrants, orphans, and people at the margins of society, we should know why the church is dying out, because it has so much to repent for. The church as an institution is meant to care for the most vulnerable. And the Bible tells us exactly who those people are. Women, widows, orphans, immigrants. These are the people that we are supposed to be praying and caring for. Not people with billions of dollars, not presidents. We are not supposed to be praying for the people in power. We are supposed to be praying for the people who are being oppressed and taken advantage by the people in power. And so as Christians, we should not be surprised why people think that we have nothing to offer if all we're doing is praying to keep people in power rather than praying for the poor and the most vulnerable of society. Since Trump fired the head of the FAA, there have been 7 major plane crashes across the United States of America. Flying was supposed to be one of the safest forms of travel until he came into office. So this is a cool opportunity for a little story time for followers who don't really know me that well. Because unlike J.D. Vance, I didn't become vice president. Because while I was at Yale in 2016, I was a Republican. I was a delegate. I was actually nominated to become a state representative in my district. Unfortunately, Donald Trump decided to run that year, and I decided to change parties for this reason. As a Republican, I wouldn't be able to represent the vulnerable populations, the minority groups, I said. As a Marine, my integrity is really important to me, and I wouldn't be able to represent the ideals that inspired me to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. This story is from 2016, which is 9 years ago now. So my life actually looked a lot like J.D. Vance's while at Yale. I was a Republican leader. I was somebody who they were putting up for political positions. But unlike J.D. Vance, I actually continued to keep my principles, my values, and maybe I'm not in power. Maybe I'm not friends with Peter Thiel and have billions of dollars, but I have a wonderful, happy family that I get to hang out with on a Saturday. I still have my values. I still have my principles, my soul, my character. I serve a wonderful church. And so, yeah, I didn't become vice president, but I'm very happy that I didn't sell my soul so that I would work for somebody that I said I thought was the most evil man in the world. When I say something, I mean it. Unlike J.D. Vance, my word matters. My principles matters. My ethics, my values, my character matters to me because it matters to my kids. And 20 years from now, I want them to know that I have a legacy of being honest, not of flip-flopping on my words. So that's just a little bit of history about me. If you didn't know me a little bit, I care more about people than I do about power.
When a black woman dies, when a black woman is murdered, you don't hear about it. When a white woman dies or a white woman is murdered, it's the front page. There's rallies, there's documentaries. But when it's a black woman, you don't want to know about it. So you all need to put a mirror up to yourselves and ask yourselves why you are not reporting on black women who've been murdered and missing and children. Why aren't we reporting on these deaths, on these murders? We have to have an inquiry to call you all out, including the police, including all the racist systems that keep us oppressed in this country, including the media. We have Aboriginal people across this country ready to tell their story. We have a list of missing and murdered black women and children, and we need you all to commit to reporting on every black death in custody, every murdered black woman, and every missing black child.
Post it on your social media.
I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear.
I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear.
Hello, my people. Lady Rose here. How y'all doing? To all my new subscribers, you're welcome, and my returning subscribers, y'all know I love you. Guys, yep. I'm not sure if the system is gonna let that video play, but if it does play, means you already watched these tabloids. They came to confess their sins. I couldn't even believe to see that Kinsey. She really knows why she is in this dirty business. She confessed that the palace does actually leak nonsense to them. And guess what? Just a poor mind took her into the business. I'm telling y'all, send your children to school. If the children do not want to go to school, send them to learn some kind of anything that is going to help them make good living out here, and teach them it's not okay to lie to make a living. You won't be blessed. And a few minutes later, right now here, Kinsey's eyes can't even see because of lies. You know, she is declared legally blind. That's why she got that Hollywood symbol behind her and sits there, tells people, guess what? I wish I could make it in Hollywood, but because I never made it there, and Meghan is in there, and I hate her so much, I'm just gonna kind of leave my dream in my living room and put this symbol behind me. You know? So she knows why she's doing what she does. I thought because she was American, she was kind of innocent in the business. Somebody just came and told her about your lies. But guys, yeah, you heard it. And if you didn't hear it, she came and confessed that the palace told them to whitewash everything that William does and not expose anything of his, because he's the future king. And therefore, the person who needs to be thrown under the bus is Harry and Meghan. And y'all remember, she made a picture. She made Prince Harry's picture, engagement picture to Meghan, to be her and Prince Harry. Look at the level of the hate. Look at what she's dreaming about. You know what that all comes to? Lack of experience, lack of education, lack of everything. She doesn't have any kind of anything to make her be human being. No experience. The only experience she has is working on Diddy, luring in young people into that party. That's what she used to do. I read the article somewhere. That kid was on the, what do you call it? On the list of, I do not know if it's a publicist or something like similar to that, because, you know, some of those publicists probably went to school, but I don't know this one, if she really went to school, because of the way she sounds. That kid sounds so dumb, this Kinsey kid. She sounds so dumb, I wonder who her mama is. Wow. Them tabloids. Before I remember, I made that same video for you guys, but I made the video. I recorded the sound of these people's confession, but today y'all saw their faces. Yep, you saw them faces. They came to confess to y'all. And I couldn't even believe I saw Kinsey saying that. I was having I was just giving her some kind of grace in my spirit, because, you know, sometimes I just like to be logical. I wanted to give her benefit of doubt, because I'm like, well, she's some kind of dumb American who knows nothing about these people. Somebody came and told her all the lies, and she's buying into the lies. But baby, I was wrong. I was very wrong. So she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew, and these people, I believe that Kevin guy told her, guess what? This is our business. And to do this business, you need to know, if you do read anything about bullying on here, if you read anything about Wheelie Leaks, do not talk about it. The only person we need to throw under the bus here is Prince Harry and Meghan, and that's how we make money. And if you do talk about Prince William, nobody is gonna click on our videos. And if you want to write any article, you gotta throw in Prince Harry, because I tell you, bullying is so boring, and Kate is so boring, and everything she wears, all those tablecloth, they don't really sell. And she's so dumb, and she just mumbles. You know, if you talk about that mumble and mumble, that she gonna mumble, and that mumble ain't gonna sell no damn paper. So therefore, you need to come with the eloquent Meghan Markle and her prince out here, so we could sell and try to make our living. It's so sad. And damn, man. Some of these people in America trying to buy those kind of lies, it's terrible. Because you know, in this America, you will find job. Just try to put yourself through some kind of education, 3 months, and try to get some kind of license, because there are lots of trainings. There are lots of trainings around here, and there are lots of trade schools where you can go learn about how to cut hair. You can go to learn how to really put on makeup, because damn, Kinsey, the way you do put that makeup on your face, I'm telling you, if the real esthetician or beautician or whatever you call them, if they gonna come look at the way you do put that makeup on your face. Well, by the way, I forgot one thing. I forgot that you were blind. So yes, so that's also another thing. You know, because of that one, it's like you just don't see what you be putting on your face, kid. You don't see what you do put on your face. Girl, that makeup that you do get on, I don't know if you do put that makeup on your face in the dark, or something wrong. Something really wrong with you, kid. Something really wrong with this Kinsey. So yeah. So if y'all guys do find this article about her on that Diddy thing, y'all need to send them our way, because I was trying to look it up, but it looks like somebody kind of deleted it, because you know, those people are very well supported by the media. All those filthy people out here, these racists, they all support each other. And I wish all the black people, we supported each other like that, all the minorities. If we supported each other like these people do, these racists, it would be, the world could have been like a better place, I tell you. But it's a little bit hard for us to support each other, which is kind of like a really heartbreaking, but it is what it is. Maybe one day we're gonna open our eyes to start supporting each other like these haters do. Because damn, can you believe, like in their dictionary, well, we can see it out here, hate wins, because do you see the views on these people's videos, which you will never see on any of our videos, you know, which is really sad. Yeah, it's very, very sad that you cannot get those views on our videos, because guess what? We preaching love. So it's like maybe going to that hate route kind of, it really is paying, and it's paying a bunch of these people, you know? Yeah, you all saw that Don guy. Yeah, he also came out here and confessed. But he has no shame, because that guy has more progesterone and that other women hormone in his body than he has testosterone. Yes, he has estrogen and progesterone than he has testosterone. Do you see how he looks? Yeah, that dude, he looked like a piece of something. Yeah, he's kind of piece of trash. Yeah, and wow. I cannot believe that coming from Kinsey's mouth, calling Harry victim of tabloids for 20 years. Wow. And you also contributing in torturing this guy knowingly. Damn. Girl, you'll never see again. There's no any future left for you. You just gonna remain on this lie news and lies and all those hate campaign. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna take you too far. Yeah, you're not gonna go nowhere. And one day, all these Americans are gonna know who you are, and I'm sure nobody ain't gonna bring you on their shows here in the United States of America. You're a miserable someone, terrible human being, just to keep that Hollywood dream there behind your name, behind your green screen. Because I tell you, yeah. And y'all watch all bunch of those interviews there. Helping the system is gonna also play them, because sometimes I do post lots of videos and the system does not take some of them because they do put copyright on them. And so when they do flag my video with copyright, I have to take those video and edit them and remove those parts. So the copyrighted parts are always removed. It just takes a lot of hours to kind of get all this stuff together. So sometimes you do watch the videos that I was referring to, and sometimes you do not, because I have to edit those videos when YouTube says those tabloids kind of flagged my video. Yeah, so that's what it is, guys. Yes, I do hope you also saw those random videos where Meghan was on shows, and those were mostly before being royal, when she was just our local Hollywood star. Yes. So I hope you all guys enjoyed those videos.